because men are naturally supposed to have to be leaders. I think women today's time think that to be confident, they have to mimic masculine behavior to show confidence, and I don't necessarily agree with that. How many times, if a woman's around a true
like
man,
this is why men like you literally have
men like me? You don't even know
talk
me.
about like you men like to have your mindset is like why men believe that they have so much like stress when it comes to relationships because you guys believe that you guys
What do we believe?
you guys
That we're
have to be leaders, you guys have to be dominant, you guys have to do this and this and this, and that's why men are stressed out about relationships so freaking
men
hard.
are stressed because they don't know what type of women to pick. It ain't got nothing to do with what they doing. Men are stressed because they chase after looks outside of character.
Yeah, maybe
so
you
you
need to be
chasing after
sensitive.
women. We not what's insensitive about what I'm saying.
No, I said you need to learn how to be sensitive. Like
I'm
having the mind.
sensitive.
I need to be a leader.
But maybe, but that's the problem. Today's women want men to be soft so they can be tough, but that's not reality.
Let me add something real quick.
Can I just ask a question real quick? Why does he need to learn to be sensitive?
Exactly.
No, because I'm saying that whole mindset is like the whole like leaders, because then you meet like for example like I would not be able to be with someone like personally that is so dominant, or like someone that is that has a mindset where I have to.
Want a
they have
fucking
to.
sensitive guy. Come off that shit. What are you talking about?
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying not sensitive. But yes, the word sensitive is a perfect word I use. I use the word because I literally believe it.
When the dog dies, should he cry in the movie theater with you? You go, oh my god, I can't believe it. The dog
Okay, no, I don't like pussies.
What do you mean sensitive? You don't want a sensitive guy?
No, but that's not what I mean. Like being able to, I don't know the word, but being able to
express your emotions when.
No, that's not what I mean. But I mean like the being able to
do what you tell
open
them
up.
to.
No, but being a freak, I don't know the word, but it's like when being able to know like when it's okay to be like
express your emotions at the right time. Like open up at the right time when it's the right
what's
moment.
that word?
Common sense.
Vulnerable.
There we go.
But that vulnerability and leadership is two different things. A man is still a leader whether he shows vulnerability or not. You show vulnerability, but you still got to wipe your face and go back and still lead.
Our friend Andrew over here said that no woman wants a man who's a bitch and who cries.
There's some truth to that.
Hang on. What did I actually say? Repeat
what I heard was no woman wants a pussy. Some shit. No woman wants a weak man.
I don't believe that you actually want a sensitive guy. You're
Wait, can I say
sensitive, especially emotional sensitivity.
Okay.
Calm down. Hang on. I've been letting you go back and forth. Chill out. Okay. Especially when it comes to emotional sensitivity. You don't want somebody in a movie theater, right, who cries when Bambi dies, okay? None of you women want that shit. Just stop coping. It's fucking bullshit. Total bullshit, right? You're never going to convince me in a million years that that's what you want. So that, if you think that equates to being a bitch, well, I mean, I guess I can kind of grant that because I do think that is kind of bitch made to cry when Bambi dies, right? So that's all I'm saying.
No, you're like 100% right. Like, yeah, no girl wants a fucking pussy. Like, that's the best way I can explain a man like that.
I don't mind a sensitive man, though. I think there's, like, it's confident with being yourself, because some men are scared to cry, or, like, that sense of machismo, so it's, like, they don't want to cry or show that vulnerability. So I think when they do show that sensitive side of them, it shows some confidence with themselves and overall.
Okay,
I don't understand that. That makes no sense to me.
Well,
wouldn't it be the opposite? Like if you say, I think that it shows confidence if you show a vulnerable side.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, being brave.
I don't understand why it wouldn't be
vulnerable.
Let me finish. Calm down. I don't know why it wouldn't be equally, convincing of confidence if you don't show vulnerability. Why would you need to? Why is that a sign of a lack of confidence? I don't get that.
It's actually not what I was about to say. Is that being?
Yeah, I know, but I wasn't talking.
Okay, let me finish speaking because you cut me on multiple times now.
Hang on, you're gonna have plenty of time to talk. I promise. Let's just finish our conversation. Go ahead. She hasn't gotten in on the conversation. I want to get her in on the conversation. Right? It can't all be chair one all night. So anyway, go ahead. We were talking about confidence. Why would this be problematic for confidence if a man didn't show vulnerabilities?
So you cut me off so you can explain that I can now speak? That's what you did. I was about to talk and then you said, let her talk.
Did I say couldn't speak, or did I say can we get
Okay, let me talk.
Another person in also in the conversation. Is that okay? Is that okay, Your Majesty? Is there anything else we can do for you, Your Majesty?
Yes, peasant.
Why don't we, hang on, somebody go get Brian. Let's just get you the keys to the fucking studio, Your Highness, and we'll roll out the red carpet. You can come on in. We'll get you some spritzers. Like, what else can we do for you tonight? But In the meantime, while you think about everything we can possibly do for you, perhaps we can get this other gal in because she hasn't been able to enter in the conversation.
Silence, peasant. Okay, like I was gonna say.
Got him.
Okay, like I was gonna say is that
No,
it's you, right?
Yeah.
He's talking to you, right?
Okay, what's your question? Or what's your response?
Yeah, so my question to you was just how does it show that it's not actually confidence?
It's because
just because they don't open up about vulnerability.
It's because with today's like society, people often want men to not show that vulnerability because they want them to be stronger, machismo. But I think being able to show that confident side, or not that confident side, but being able to show that sensitive and vulnerable side is confident.
But don't you agree that oftentimes big complaint, which happens in relationships, is that when men open up to women, they use that information as a weapon that they can then that they can then utilize later. So in some ways, it's almost like intel gathering. And in this way, they can learn your fears. They can learn various weapons to use against you. As men, they have physical strength. They don't really need to be able to weaponize emotion against women. However, women don't have that same asset at their disposal, so for them, information is key, right? So in some ways, aren't you basically requesting that a man possibly give you weapons that you can use against him later that he just never has to give up at all?
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. There are some ladies out there who do take advantage of information like that, but again, it's just with who you choose to share that information with. And it doesn't have to be right after a day that you choose to share that vulnerable side, but being able to share that eventually is strong.
How long is eventually? Like, if he never gave you the weapons, like, what's wrong with that, right? I don't really understand why that would even show a lack of confidence. Let's say this guy handles all of his business. He takes care of everything he's supposed to do. He takes care of all of his responsibilities and duties. Just doesn't want to open up to you about whatever emotions he has about any particular fears that he has or things like this. Why is that actually a sign of weakness rather than a sign of strength?
Because you don't trust me. If I'm dating someone and they don't show vulnerability or they aren't comfortable enough,
then you don't have any weapons.
No, I'm not saying that it's a weapon, but you have to.
What
be
happened to
with
you,
someone.
bro? Are you okay? Like,
No,
he's been through some shit, obviously. Like,
who rejected you?
I mean, there's some truth to what he's saying.
No,
And there's some
definitely,
truth to
but-
what y'all saying, too, because I get it. It's like,
so, but that, going back to what I was saying
Did we
originally,
really
vulnerability.
get
That's what I was
down
trying to use
like,
earlier.
Who hurt you? Are we doing the who hurt you thing?
Yeah.
Who hurt you, bro? Who got you? Who hurt you?
You're like, hey, you're like pushing 60.
All the dumb women on the fucking panel. Who hurt you, bro?
Okay,
You're pushing 60 and you're like, really like, you're broken.
No, you got me. I'm pushing
You're
60,
broken,
you're pushing
dude.
220. We all got our fucking crosses to bear, okay?
You're broken. You're a broken spirit.
What were you saying?
The only thing that's about to break is those chair legs. So I mean, I would just calm down, honestly.
You're okay. So, you think okay, let me ask you. Last time I was on, you said that as women age, they get ugly and less attractive, and then
Yes.
so you.
I don't. Is this controversial?
Oh,
did I make a controversial statement? As women get older, they become less attractive. Yes, this is the case.
Do you think your wife is ugly?
Oh, you were going to tie it into the wife?
Yeah.
She's less attractive now at 40 than she was when she was 20. You got me. Oh my God. I'm able to view objective reality. Boy, that was a real hit. You really got me with that one.
You're broken.
That was quite the zinger.
You're broken, dude.
Yeah, you're broken.
why do y'all always say who hurt you? Like,
No.
a lot of people.
I just think
I'm just
okay.
talking about him. I'm just talking about in general. Like, women
just
always
said-
say
I
who
just
hurt
said-
you. Like,
Because I just
y'all
said a
get
normal
hurt.
person.
Y'all admit when y'all get hurt.
Let
Yeah,
me tell you
definitely. That's why
something.
that's
Let
why
me
we
tell you
ask you,
something.
because like
Everybody gets
Can
hurt.
I answer?
we generally care.
I was a nanny for a very long time. I babysat for lots of people, many different ages. I have never met a stable man that acts like that man right there. Never met a stable man that acts like him.
I've never met a stable woman that can't keep her appetite under control. So, you know, I mean, this is the thing.
What?
Right?
What is your deal, dude? Look at you. Look at you. How much do you weigh? How much
You're
do
so
you
triggered.
weigh?
Calm down. Calm down.
No one's
I'm
triggered but
I'm 6
you.
foot and 200 pounds. You're right. I need to lose about 15. You need to lose about 50. Okay? Look, we all got our roles here. Calm down.
You're broken. You're a broken boy.
You got me. You know what you are? You're a broken record because all you got is you're broken. I haven't heard you say anything else.
I just feel like the mindset of like your head immediately going to she's using it as a weapon. I don't know, like for me, I would never do that. So I think it really depends on who you are with. Because I agree with her. Like, I think it's not like lack of not showing trust. Like, I would want to be emotionally vulnerable with
But I
someone
want you to think about it from the other end. What you're saying makes sense to me, right? It's rational. You say the idea of a man opening up to me is showing that the man has trust. This is rational to me. The problem is it's also rational to me the other way. The man says, well, wait a second. If I open up, I actually give the women around me weapons they would not ordinarily have and information they would not ordinarily have, which can then be used against me. That's also rational.
It is.
Even opening up to you that they have that fear
But
itself can be weaponized and used against them. So the thing is like, at the same time women say, I want an emotionally stable Billy badass guy, right? At the other side of their mouth, I also want somebody who's super emotional and opens up to me. It's like, well, that's because Billy Badass, really, you can't emotionally weaponize anything against him unless he tells it to you.
Well, I don't think I'm asking for someone to be super emotional with me all the time. It's just if I were to want to be with someone, I would want to be emotionally connected with them, right?
Yeah, but why does that include that person telling you their fears or telling you things or, things about themselves which could potentially later be utilized against them? Why is that a requirement for emotional connection?
I don't know. I just feel like if you have a mindset of, oh, this woman is going to use my emotional vulnerability against me, for one, I don't think...
It's not a set of is, so it's not saying...
I don't know. To me, I think you should be working on yourself.
Yeah, it's not saying she will do this. It's saying, why even give her the opportunity to ever do this?
What's the point of
Okay, but
being with someone if you're not going to emotionally connect with them?
Men are not with women so that they have an emotional support animal, okay? That's not what they're there for. They're not with women
But
so that
men
they can
expect us to
open
be
up.
vulnerable
So
and
they can open
feminine.
up about their deepest, darkest fears. That's not what they're with them for. I'm going to tell you the truth. You may not like to hear this, but they're mostly with women because they really want to fuck them. That's honestly why most men
And
are
that's
with
probably the same
women.
reason why
Not
we're with men
because-
too.
Not because they want an emotional support animal. They are viewing women through the prism of physical beauty, attractiveness, childbearing, not through the lens of, can you help me out with my emotional problems? Women are the ones who have the emotional problems. They buy into the witchcraft of psychology and therapy and all that bullshit. Men don't want anything to do
Can I
with
press
it.
the what button?
Men are literally playing video games and in lobbies, talking shit to each other and having a ball. They don't need therapy. They don't need any. That's all women stuff. That has nothing to do with men. It's not even how men function.
Wait, hold on. I do want to come back to you because I was back there. I heard you say something. Repeat what you said, like when it came to men revealing certain things about them, being vulnerable. Can you just repeat it?
I don't know. I just think that if you have a mindset of, oh, this woman is going to use my emotional vulnerability against me, I think you should work on yourself before dating. Like, I think it's a self problem.
I'll respond. Go ahead.
And I lost my train of thought, but that's like my thing. Like, I just think you need to work on yourself, and not all women are like that. You can't just generalize women and say like, oh, she's gonna use it against me. Like,
Well, how else? Let me ask you a question.
you're meeting the wrong woman
Let me just
then.
have this exchange here.
What do you think the tools are of women for attacking men? They can't beat them up. So how do they do it? They do it through
She
innuendo?
can answer your question in just a second, but so can you just repeat it one more time, and then I'll have the back and forth.
Yeah. I feel like if you have a mindset of thinking like, oh, this woman is going to use my emotional vulnerability against me, I think you should work on yourself before getting into a relationship.
And so do you think that men should pretty much, at what point should they be willing to be emotionally vulnerable from this jump?
Well, everyone, it's case by case. I think you would know as an adult when you can trust someone.
Okay, I guess my question is like, you're a virgin, you've not had sex with a man because you feel like you would get attached and you could get hurt. So men's corresponding fear, which, I mean, I don't know if it's a fear for you, is we don't want to reveal, like Andrew said, certain information that's going to get weaponized against us. Mm-hmm. Most men have, maybe you women have had sort of a corresponding or a symmetrical experience with a man where maybe you revealed to to a man something really intimate, and then when the relationship started to crumble, he used these things that he knew about you that other people didn't know, and he weaponized it. Granted, this is something that women do far more commonly. I've had this experience myself. I have anecdotal experience. Eric, I don't know if you have an anecdotal experience where you shared something with a woman, and then when the relationship didn't go her way, you guys were breaking up, whatever, she then weaponized it. She released embarrassing information about you. She released, these sorts of things. In the midst of the breakup, she was like, oh, you were a pussy about this, or whatever it is. So, I mean, like, I'm just trying to understand here, wouldn't you just, the same kind of angle you're coming at this with, well, oh, you should just do it. Like, couldn't a guy just be like, oh, well, you should just fuck me because...
No, I'm not saying you should just do it. You should do it when you feel like you're ready to open up. But I just don't feel like you should generalize and be like, oh, like, she's going to use it against me.
Can I ask you then just this question briefly?
Go ahead.
I assume that you agree with me that most men who you're going to be in a relationship with, you're not going to be able to beat them up. You can't actually physically probably beat them up, right?
No, and I don't want to.
So, right, exactly. So inside of this force dynamic, that is not a tool which is available to you, right? Now, this is terrible to say out loud, but it is the truth. That is actually available to men. They can utilize force. They do it with other men all the time. But it's not something they have to fear from you, ever. They don't have to fear that you're going to beat them up like they have to fear from a guy that they'll get beat up. So the question is what are the tools that women use to attack men? What do? They use innuendo, they use slander, they use rumors, they use things like this. Most of those things come from the men themselves telling these women these things. Since that is the case, you can't beat me up, but you're really mad at me. How are you going to attack me? Well, Bangs over here begins by saying, making some age jokes, right? They can assault your looks. You can start with that route. But if you really want to hit home, right, you're trying to attack the reputation because men care about reputation. So if they open up to you about things like their fears or embarrassing stories or they're emotionally vulnerable to you, how are they not setting themselves up for attack from you?
But isn't that the same thing, setting when women be vulnerable and feminine? You guys like to use that word. Are we basically setting ourselves up as well? Men can use that against kids. So, but you're making it sound like, oh, men are the victim.
Yeah. Wait.
If it were the case that we saw, for instance, that women were putting up, or men were putting up online, like, oh, are you dating my girl? Like women are putting up, are you dating my man? Things like this, which are designed to attack and destroy the reputation of men. Women are far more likely to do this than men are. But women are far more likely to go to court, make up stories. They're far more likely to make up stories in order to get assets like children and child support. They are happy to utilize information and weaponize it to attack men. Men usually don't do this because usually
that is such a lie. That is such a lie.
Almost done.
Nah.
Because when they deal with men, they have the physical option. Men always have the physical option with other men. I don't like you, bam, you get smacked in the mouth, right? Easy, done, right? This is the option they can always go with. With women, they can't do that. What ends up happening is they have to use the same tools, which is innuendo, slander. They're not as good at it.
Wait, so by using your example, then shouldn't women have more to lose since they can get hurt, like physically and emotionally?
Well, men aren't attacking women. My point isn't to say that men are out there attacking women in relationships. And right now, at the DV rates, for instance, they're pretty equal. What's actually going on, I'm trying to show you a force argument. So let me explain what I mean. So if me and the gentleman who's in the studio with you right now, if I'm in the studio with him, we begin talking shit to each other, he readily has the option available to him to reach across and punch me in the mouth. And probably would if I said the wrong thing, or he may think vice versa. For women, that's not the case. He doesn't have the option to just reach over and punch you in the mouth. Okay, that is a social taboo, one. So he has to use the same types of tools that you would have to use for physical prowess, which would be slander, innuendo, things like this. But because men are generally used to dealing with men and not women, right? They focus on the force aspect, not on the rumor mongering slander aspect. Women focus on that even with each other. So they're way, way, way better at it. So I would say no, men actually have way more to lose by opening up about their vulnerabilities than women do.
Okay, I just want to say, if you're going off by your point, you're basically saying like, oh, we should probably not have sex with men then because we're scared that we're gonna get beat up. That's
Yeah.
like basically what you're
That's-
implying.
What?
Not what I'm
What are you talking? No, the opposite. Men are not beating up women in relationships any more than women are attacking men in relationships. What I'm saying is that because men deal with other men through the aspect of the physical, meaning you start a rumor about me and you're a dude and you talk a bunch of shit, I might punch you in the mouth. That's not going to happen with a woman.
Women that do that are just
with
fucking
women. So with
idiots.
women, we're forced into the same information war against them, which is slander, innuendo, things like this. But because women deal with each other all the time, they're always in that war. So they're really good at that shit, and men are not. So when you say, to me, it's almost a form of manipulation to say, I'm really attracted to stoic men who have great emotional control. But at the same time, I want them to be vulnerable and open up to me. It almost sounds like a form of manipulation in order for you to accrue knowledge, which can then be used against them.
What the fuck?
Okay, you know what?
Who,
I'm not-
Who do
Moral of
you
the story is that we prefer guys that are willing, up to the idea, open to the idea of being vulnerable. Period. That's all we were saying. You're adding.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I'm sorry
I
you
can
don't feel
literally- I can
safe in
literally
your
see position if
relationship.
you'd like.
Metro Mac donated $200. A sign of incompetence is confidence in being wrong. These women are a prime example. You are literally hearing but not listening. This is why women need to stop speaking so much and listen.
All right, Metro Matt, thank you. Metro Matt, thank you for the TTS. Sorry for the delay on getting to it. I was away from the computer. Andrew, I think you wanted to steel man her position?
Yeah, I mean, the position is simple. You're just saying that, at the same time, I want this stoic man and this and that. I want a man who's not afraid to open up to me. What I'm saying is that men are at a distinct disadvantage, okay, which is that they don't deal with women the same way women deal with women. And when you have one-on-one conversations with women, you find out just how much the gossip mongering within the sisterhood goes, how much the backstabbing goes, and how much they destroy each other's reputation on a daily basis. They do it all the time. It's their mechanism for defense. It's their mechanism for attack. Not for men. Men's mechanism for attack is the physical. They beat the shit out of each other. So they're at a massive disadvantage when it comes to utilizing information in a way which is predatory or harmful to women, whereas women are not at that disadvantage with men. That's why when you say, I want you to open up and be emotionally vulnerable to me, right? What you're really asking is for them to give you weapons which can then later be used against you, even if it's not by you. It could just be that you gossip with your girlfriends and tell them whatever it is that his emotional weaknesses are, this or that, and they use it against him. But the truth is that they are at a disadvantage, like it or not.
Well, that's why it's important to really take your time with showing that vulnerable side. Like, it doesn't have to be immediate. It could be after months or after years, if that's really how long it takes. Just really be sure. Sorry.
Like Andrew, aren't you vulnerable with your wife? Like, you're married. Like, haven't you gotten that point with her?
I make sure that, well, first of all, I don't think that women even like it when you're vulnerable with them. I think that that's cope and bullshit anyway.
He's not even
But the
attracted
thing
to his
that
wife
I don't think my wife would want me even to be emotionally vulnerable or something like this. I don't even think that she would want that.
Okay.
What would be the point in the principle? Women don't value that. They don't value emotionally vulnerable men. They exploit emotionally vulnerable men.
Coming
They don't
from a
value
man.
them.
Can I jump
Why
in?
are women always like the problem and like the enemy in the situation? Oh, men
No,
can't open
I
up
didn't
because
say that
women
they're
are
the enemy.
gonna attack them and
I'm
women are gonna
saying that
use it
there's
against
a
them. You
distinct
didn't.
dynamic.
You literally said it. You literally said it.
When did I say that they were the enemy? You're just making shit up.
Because you're acting like it. You're like, oh, whenever women have the chance to bite back at a man, they're gonna bite back and they're gonna
All right.
use.
Let's
They're gonna
test
let
this
me
and see if it's
speak.
true.
Let me speak, dude. You fucking
Go ahead.
talk so
Go
much.
ahead. Go ahead. Calm down. Go ahead.
Okay, like in your story and in your head, women are the enemy. Like it's so obvious, it's so clear. You can ask anybody here. Women
Yeah,
are
so
clearly the
obvious isn't an
enemy in your
argument.
story.
You make an argument.
Do you mind if I
So here's
speak up
what
real
you're
quick?
saying. What you're saying is because there's a distinction in interpersonal dynamics between the sexes, that if I bring up those distinctions, that somehow that makes the women the enemy. So let's just test and see if this is true, Bangs. Okay? So
Yeah, 'cause you're
do you think
taking
that-
a
do you
personal
think that
opinion
men-
just
Wait, hold on, no. You got to let him
You
finish.
speak so much.
You got to let
Do
him
you think-
finish.
I'm just going to ask you a question. Do you think that men or women are better at weaponizing information to destroy the other? Men or women?
Woman, absolutely.
Yeah, women, absolutely. So all you're doing is making my point for me when I point out this intersexual distinction which exists, and that you're actually asking men to take a greater risk by being emotionally vulnerable than you are risking back. Now, can you make an argument against that, or can't you?
Okay, but women are emotionally vulnerable all the time, so now they have this emotional vulnerability against them as well as physical.
Oh, bullshit.
Oh my
They're not
God, dude,
emotionally
just shut the fuck
vulnerable
up.
all the time.
Mind if I
You're
butt in
so
my phone?
fucking
You had something.
annoying.
Go ahead.
So I think what he's saying, I do understand from his point of view and from his experience, this is how he understands women. And I think that's totally valid, because earlier you were saying we were giving you an opinion. You're like, this is not how men think. I'm telling you how men think. So can we just take a quick poll at this table? If men, or no, sorry, let me backtrack. If women at this table prefer a man in this case, who is more emotionally vulnerable versus a man who, say, isn't emotionally vulnerable.
Show of hands for that, I guess.
I'm like pretty neutral.
But that's a reason why we all
We have
became.
something to react to. Go ahead.
But that's the whole point of this topic was just simply because I was looking for the word vulnerable. Like I like men that can get there with me, and then because like I'm not trying to be a bitch or anything like that.
Here, can you give us an example of what this would look like, just so?
Okay, it would be more just like I don't know, just like for example, I'd be like I would constantly just be like. I'm too lazy to go off the bed and go grab the remote that's like right there. I'm like go get that. But the way I say it, it's very.
What does that have to do with vulnerability?
But like because,
I'll say something.
but like but
That was about.
I'll say something.
Is it? An
It's
example?
about vulnerability.
Okay. All right.
So I grew up with a dad who was very like masculine and stuff, and he had 3 daughters, and my dad, like he knows when to open up. My whole childhood, I had always been kind of scared of him because he was very assertive and very, authoritative. But once I got older and he started opening up about his childhood and every horrible thing he went through, it gave me so much clarity on why he acts the way he acts, and it gave me understanding. So when I feel like you need to know people's vulnerabilities to understand the way they do. Haven't you guys ever read the book about The Ways of Love or something like that? It's a book about how people love and how they express their love, the love languages. It's about how people express their love languages, and it all roots back to childhood. So when you're able to open up and be vulnerable about childhood or whatever has affected your life and has what made you become the person you are. Shut the fuck up, Andrew, dude. Like, just shut the fuck up.
Be nice.
Like, dude.
Be
like,
nice.
I don't know who the fuck
since
are
you
you.
Since you mentioned a book, you need to read the first 2 pages of Green Eggs and Ham. Go ahead.
Right now?
Right now, read it.